get to the big news, and there is a lot going on.
You can always tell when a streak's going to come to an end. You win a couple of games, you probably shouldn't. He didn't go from a Coach of the Year finalist to a guy that doesn't know how to tie his shoes. You get suspended this many times, you are that kind of player.
The word of the day, shenanigans. There are teams out there that could use that quality of playoff goaltending. This one is juicy because it did have the undertones of a potential offer sheet. All right, Ray, you ready to do this?
Yep, let's go.
Powered by Rev Media in partnership with TSN, it is season 7 of the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast, presented by our title sponsor, Tim Hortons. It's Thanksgiving at Tim's with their new Thanksgiving stack sandwich, available now for lunch and dinner for a limited time, Ray, across Canada. Now, I don't know if you've seen the television commercial for the stack sandwich, but I mean, this thing's a 12 out of 10. I mean, delicious. So it's prepared to order, which is always nice. I mean, you have certain things that you want on a sandwich, and so do I. It's served hot out of the oven, features thick slices of seasoned 100% Canadian carved turkey breast. You've got home-style stuffing, cranberry sauce, which is 100% real cranberries. And I'm not a big cranberries fan, but you put cranberries and stuffing on a turkey sandwich.
Oh,
I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
You're not?
I am.
It has to
I'm
be there.
100%.
Well done, Tim's. Well done, Tim's.
Yeah. Then you throw the crispy.
Cranberries. Well done by Tim's. You got to get it all in there. I like it.
Yeah. But that's where it's a bit weird for me is, so we all love turkey dinner, right? I mean, some people have it multiple times a year. I'm more or less once, twice. Thanksgiving, Christmas, right? That's about it. I like the cranberries with the stuffing and the turkey on the sandwich, as Tim's is so lusciously provided here in the stack sandwich. But I wouldn't put it I don't go for the cranberries on a plate during the big meal. That's a bit strange. I look at cranberries as a condiment. Very tasty though. Very tasty.
I can get it all mixed up in the middle there, and it's.
I saw an ad the other day. I think it was an Instagram ad, right? We'll get to the welcome back part because it's been a while, but I get rambling because I think of things as you talk, and it's actual food separators for your plate. So if you're one of those people that doesn't like your food touching, you can buy these, I guess they're Teflon little dividers that you put on your plate. It looks like you're a 6-year-old, but you've got this big plate and you've got these plastic dividers so that the stuffing, the cranberries and the turkey and the potatoes and the gravy and all that don't mix. But you're the opposite. You want it all in some kind of stew-like idea. Is that what it is?
Well, not that combined, but I do have buddies that eat. I have buddies that do eat their food in a like, say they order steak and potatoes and broccoli, whatever, and they eat them individually. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, it's time. It's time at Tim's for the Thanksgiving stack. It's available now across Canada at lunch and dinner. Hey, it's always great to welcome in a new season. Sometimes I think you and I, over the course of the off season, go, is there going to be a new season? But here we are. Yep. Season 7. Summer flew by, so almost 8 full weeks at the Cabbage. And I don't know about, you're very busy. I know you, Cammy, the boys, you're super busy during the off season. Especially in the world of Cammy, where in the National Hockey League and management, there isn't really the off season. But I got to admit, man, so I've been a week or so back, and I'm finding it difficult to reset my routine. The routine at the Cabbage is different than it is here. And not just because of the work stuff. It's just, I'm outside all the time. I'm inventing chores to do, things to do, all of that. And here, once I'm done cutting the grass, I'm staring at my phone and I'm texting people and I'm looking for stuff. But anyway, I'll get into the full insider routine. How about you? You ready to roll here?
Sort of. I'm slow to it, for sure. Same as you say. Like, we've been off for months here, and I Cammie would say, "What are you doing today?" I said, "I got to head to the office, and which is the golf course, and and I spend another day at the golf course." I mean, we had a great summer, and I mean, I love what I do, and I know you do too. Like, but that first step into it is like, "Ooh, I gotta get going here. I gotta start doing some prep." And last night, actually, I sent in my first batch of flights, and for the first, I was like, "Oh boy,
here we go."
That was a tough email to send yesterday. Yeah, that's for sure. But ready to go. Got to get going.
And was it last night you sent this email? Because my understanding through my insider sources is that Ray Ferraro had himself a game on the golf course on Wednesday.
Yes, I did. Now, this was my 50th round this year, and maybe the best round I've ever played. I've never been under par. I've never been anything like that. Yesterday, I was 2 over. I shot 74, and I had 3 putts that I don't know how they went in, or did not go in, rather.
Okay.
And like that, like, honestly, they were sitting right on top of the hole, and you're like, it's got to drop in, and it didn't go. And so I would have been under par, but I've had a great summer of golf, but and yesterday was the best. Like, honestly, it was so much fun. I'm sure I'll play that well on Friday. I mean, like, why wouldn't I, right? Or I'll probably shoot 88 or something and scuffle it over. But the one thing that has not happened to me, I have not been injured playing golf this year. Now, there's somebody that contributes to this show that is on the injured list because of a sore groin from golf.
Interesting.
And can't play.
We got to do this early in the season? We're going to do this early in the season.
Is it zipper related?
Yes.
Because he didn't get it past the ladies' tee? Is that what it is?
It's very early in the season to get this aggressive with chirps, and I thought we all said we were going to be nicer to each other on the show this year, and you start like this, Ray.
Okay, quickly,
no,
Ryan
you
Rashad,
said that.
Tell the story.
No, you
got to tell the story now.
There's no story to tell. I have what is commonly known as golfer's groin. Lots of high-level golfers that really try and send it with an aggressive athletic swing. Experience it. It's a thing, like tennis elbow. I got some golfer's groin, little bit of tough, coming through on the transition, and I'm working my way through that. I'm a high-level athlete. Golfer's groin. It's a thing.
It's not gout related, is it? Is it like
it might be?
The gout
waiting on results. It might be. It might be. I'm waiting on test results.
But so I went on Got Your Back last night with Ryan and Struddy, and Struddy described Ryan's golf swing. What was the animal, Ryan?
I don't want to help him with his chirp. I don't want to help. It was just attacking
a mango. That's what he
it was a good line. He said Rashog's golf swing is like a sloth attacking a mango, which I don't even want to give him credit on this show.
A lot of thought went into that.
Yeah.
So anyways, when we're going to get going right here. We had a planning meeting set up the other day, and Rashog screwed up the time because he had an appointment at the chiropractor. But it wasn't to fix his back. It was so he could get his groin somewhat reconnected to it. Like, it is impossible to hurt your groin playing golf unless you have a horrific swing. It's like a rusty gate.
So I'm not going to give you too much detail. I'm just going to say, when you have an athletic, deep inner groin issue, it gets intimate with your chiropractor. Like, it was quite the appointment, but feeling great today. So good to see you guys for season 7. Let's talk some hockey.
We will. And Rashog will join us a bit later in this episode of Ray and Dregs as part of Ask Ray and Dregs Anything. Hey, a very exciting moment here, Ray, because Headlines is now being brought to us by the Canadian Brewhouse. Now, 48 locations across Canada, more than 50 TVs, Ray, in every location, and the largest rooftop patios in Canada. The Canadian Brewhouse is the place to watch your favorite team battle it out, and you can find a location near you at www.thecanadianbrewhouse.com. And I'm fortunate enough to virtually have one in my backyard, just down the road, like 4 minutes from my house, the Oshawa, Ontario location. I mean, as good as it gets, as good as it gets. And when you talk about rooftop patios, it's just got terrific atmosphere. You know, they extend the season, Ray. It's not just a summer thing because they've got heaters, they've got everything going on out there. So if you haven't been to the Canadian Brew House, you've got to check it out. Big hockey fans too, across the country in all 48 locations. And, you know, there's so much that we could try and unpack over the course of this off season, but to start headlines, we're going to look ahead here. And we're not guessing. We've got some inside intel, but I also don't want to spoil it too much for Anze Kopitar and the LA Kings because they're going to make their announcement later in the day. We're recording this episode of Ray and Dregs Thursday morning. Anze Kopitar is planning his retirement. So he's going to map out what that's going to look like this season. 38-year-old has been an absolute force, has he not, in the National Hockey League? Just like a pillar, really, for the LA Kings since very early in his NHL career. 1,454 NHL games. So health-wise, knock on wood, he'll crack the 1,500 barrier. He's at 1,278 NHL points. When the name Anze Kopitar, we're going to talk a lot about him over the course of this year with good reason. When I throw that out there, what comes to mind of the type of player that he's been to this stage?
Okay, I got a couple things that it's not just one thing. Right now, the player that gets all the love of being the best 200-foot player in the league is Alexander Barkov. And Barkov spawns from Kopitar. I think Kopitar is as great a 200-foot player as there has been. Himself, Patrice Bergeron, Sidney Crosby, Alexander Barkov. They play the game at a different level. I would throw, and we're going to get to him a little later, I would throw Jonathan Toews in that too. Like when I hear coaches and managers saying, you know, we're looking for 200-foot players, I'm like, you guys are chasing your tail, man, because there's like eight of these guys, and like Kopitar is, when he got drafted, he was going to New York for a rookie showcase, and you know, where they do the media thing. And Mike Altieri, who's a good buddy of mine, he's the director of communications for the Kings. I mean, he's just awesome. He went with Kopitar. You know, Anze was 18, and so he went with him. And he goes, "I'm telling you, this kid is the best." This is 20 years ago, and he goes, "This kid is the best." He goes, "He is polite. He is dedicated. He is committed to what we need to get done. He is just, you know, he can't speak highly enough of him." When I think of Kopitar, I think of integrity. Integrity in his game, integrity off the ice, integrity with the way he treats people. His direction to the Hall of Fame is pretty much a straight line. Don't forget, when they drafted him number 10 in the amateur draft, he had gone to play a year or so in Sweden. He's from Slovenia, right? Like there was a lot. There was still some question. You know, can he really play at the high level? And the Kings jumped out at number 10, I believe, was his number when he got picked.
10 or 11, yeah.
And there it is, right? He has been the pillar of this for 2 decades and a couple of Stanley Cups, and one of my favorite players and people to see around the rink.
You remember leading up to that 2005 draft, man, a long time ago, 20 years, you know, there was so much talk. Everything was about Sidney Crosby. Just everything was Crosby related. And I remember going to, I believe the men's world championship was in Austria in 2005, and he was there, right? He being Anze Kopitar. And the television story we did around Kopitar was calling him Slovenia's Sidney Crosby. You know, that was the comparison that pro players, NHL coaches, managers were using, but they didn't know a whole lot about Anze Kopitar. They didn't. But now he definitely belongs in that class when you're talking of Sidney Crosby and some of the game's best players over the last 20 plus years. Ray, we've got virtually a daily diet of contract speculation, definitely in the local markets, but I would say nationally, if not globally, when you talk about Kirill Kaprizov in Minnesota, Connor McDavid, obviously, with the Edmonton Oilers, and there are others. I mean, Kaprizov reportedly turning down a mega extension at $128 million.
Yeah,
McDavid seeming very chill with the overall timing of what his approach is going to be in Edmonton. So, some thoughts as you've watched from afar here on those two camps and both scenarios in Edmonton and in Minnie.
Well, Kaprizov, when he turned down the deal, or became public that he did, I was quite surprised because the owner, Craig Leopold, had talked about we're on the verge of getting him signed and it's going to be a big deal, like a huge deal, the richest in NHL history. And so I didn't think that there could have been any hiccups left. Well, clearly there's one. So now that in that scenario, if you're the Wild, you've offered 8 years, you've offered $128 million. Do you now go and say $133 million, $138 million? Do you just keep chasing? Is there a number that eventually tells you that he's going to accept it, or is there no number? And I think in Minnesota, that would be the real concern, is that there really isn't a number, and that he wants to choose his place to play. I would say we're entering into a time with the rising cap, but also with just the generation of players being raised in a different world, sporting world than I certainly was, and the players that were right after me. They're now more proactive about selecting their place to play. If you're at a certain level of player, they're now taking charge of their career, where honestly, most of us felt, okay, well, they're offering me a contract. I don't really want to know what's going on out there. Well, I did, but I didn't want to take a chance. Right? So you would, and that helps the teams control the players' movements. We get a player like Kaprizov saying no to $128 million. Whether he thinks there's $150 million out there or not is irrelevant. What this tells me is that he's more interested in playing somewhere. Maybe he's got an ideal in his head, right? And maybe there is no money value that will make him say yes.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's certainly a concern for the Wild, and Billy Guerin's at in the big seat there, and eventually so Kaprizov, McDavid, to a certain extent a year away, Quinn Hughes. The teams can only open the bag up so wide. Like there's only so much money, and the answer is the player will write on the contract in these cases what he wants.
Right.
But if what he wants is something different, what are the teams going to do? Like you can be critical of the managements or the teams if you want, but what are they going to do? You can only offer here's a blank piece of paper, fill it in. If they say, there is nothing to fill in, then they've got to look past that. And it's not very comfortable. It's not anything that anybody would want in those situations, but hell, you got to run the team. And McDavid's thing is different than Kaprizov's in my mind, because of the immediacy of it. And McDavid's is different than Quinn Hughes's because of the immediacy of it. But if McDavid wanted an 8-year deal, it would be signed. If he wanted a 3-year deal, it would be signed, right? Because he's dictating the terms. Stan 100%. He's not dictating to Connor McDavid, right? Like that's not happening. So the concern I would have if I'm an Oiler fan is, what if there really isn't anything? Like, and I give Connor a lot of credit here because he's done a multitude of interviews. He's said pretty much the same thing in every one. I don't question for a second his commitment to the game, like his game, the team. I think he'll get 120 points again. Like, why wouldn't he? He's the best. But if he wanted a 3-year deal, that would have been done way before. If he wanted an 8-year deal, they would have come up with the terms because he would have told them. So that one makes me a little, just more than curious, put it that way.
Yeah, and when you're dealing with players of this magnitude, and McDavid is the best player in the game, you can't be worried about the outside noise, right? Of course, if they don't get a deal done, which I'm not suggesting that's going to happen. I do believe that he wants to be there. He wants to win above all else. But your point is well made. He will dictate the term and he will dictate the money. As long as he feels that he can win in Edmonton, then he's going to sign whatever that contract looks like. But as long as this continues to kind of waft up there, we had the conversation earlier in the Canadian Brewhouse headlines of Anze Kopitar. Well, all of a sudden, next season, the LA Kings have an abundance of cap space. So there wouldn't be many contending teams that obviously wouldn't move heaven and earth for a player of that magnitude. So conversations like this don't even really matter, do they? To Stan Bowman, to McDavid, because that's just assumed that if it were to get to that point, all right, well, then I guess we got to cross that bridge and figure out how we're going to manage that if it gets to that point. But we obviously don't want to let it get to that point. That would be Edmonton management.
Right, but you can only, again, push the ball to McDavid's side so many times. Like you can keep opening the bag wider and wider and wider. 20% of the cap is all that he can have.
Yeah.
Right. And so any player, not just Connor, but any player. So there is no negotiation. Really. I mean, it's whatever
it is what he says it is.
Right. And so, there was a time when the phrase that was used a lot when a really great player might get dealt or something. And the phrase always was, well, if Wayne Gretzky got traded, then anybody could get traded.
Right.
And so, like the visual of somebody staying in the same place their whole career is so rare.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're entering a phase where it becomes more and more rare.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to get to the NBA stuff where the biggest players change teams all over the place. Like LeBron James has played for, I don't even know how many teams anymore. But, oh my God, he's the greatest player of this generation. So I guess what I'm saying is that until McDavid's name is on a piece of paper, I'd be nervous, because why wouldn't you be? Like, why?
Yeah.
Who wants to lose Connor McDavid? I mean, like, nobody. Stan Bowman doesn't. The Oilers don't. And Connor is not going to tell anybody. So any of this speculation stuff that's out there where people say, I think this or I think that, it's just a guess. Connor hasn't told anyone. Him and his wife have had that discussion. I understand. Like, I would understand if his agents don't even really know all of it, because you would keep that as tight as possible. In the locker room, as far as being a distraction, not a chance. Nobody's asking him about it. They're not sitting there at the coffee machine. Hey, Connor, are you signing today? Nobody's asking that. Nobody knows. He knows. Yeah. His wife knows. And maybe they don't even really know at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's his prerogative, by the way. That's his prerogative.
Yeah. And it's going to play out. Inevitably, it's going to play out, probably sooner rather than later. But timelines have been speculated on, and they're now history. So
okay, Dregs, let me stop you there. You say sooner rather than later, meaning what? Like he's either going to sign or not, right? Like, so if he doesn't sign by October the 6th, then what?
No, I get that, but and our next topic is going to be Mitch Marner settling into Vegas. But at least, and I'm not comparing, the Marner situation to McDavid, two different players, but both the Leafs and the Marner camp prior to the start of the year last year said, we're not worrying about contract. We're not talking about contract. We're focused on hockey. We're focused on having a good season. Well, that was a pretty clear indication that they weren't even discussing it. And they said all the right things, didn't want it to be a distraction until it became a distraction later in the season at the NHL trade deadline. And it frankly turned into a debacle, right? And now Marner is with you're not getting that same vibe in the McDavid dealings.
Yeah, because McDavid says, because McDavid says nothing.
No,
and I think Connor's way of going about it is the right way.
Right.
Don't say anything. Are you going to talk about it during the season? Not every day.
Yeah, maybe.
And just let it go.
No.
And the Marner camp moved that into a daily conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Because by saying we won't talk about it during the season, it just each day that went by got closer to the inevitable end of the contract. If you say nothing while each day gets closer to the inevitable end of the contract, nobody's talking about it because you have no idea whether they are talking or not. And to me, that would be the way to go. And I wouldn't suspect anything else. Sorry, I wouldn't suspect anything else.
So Marner has had this summer to settle into Las Vegas. His family very comfortable there. The Vegas Golden Knights seemingly are always a contender. Some form, some level. There have been years since they've jumped in the National Hockey League where obviously top contender, Stanley Cup champion. There have been other years where you wondered, okay, maybe they're coming back to the pack. But always in that contender conversation. So how much better are the Vegas Golden Knights with Mitch Marner?
He's a premier player, right? Mm-hmm. And he's had no playoff success. So Vegas isn't asking him to be what I don't think, to be what he was in Toronto. Because it felt like I'm laughing because Craig Berube said one of the things he's looking forward to is not hearing Core 4 again, which cracks me up because that's just so cheap. But those players stood outside the team in Toronto. Like their stature was bigger than it would be somewhere else. Marner's stature in Vegas will slide. And that's a good thing for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to carry anything. You've got multiple star players there. How much better are they? Well, they're better offensively, but they lose Alex Pietrangelo. You don't think they're going to miss him? Like this is not they're in a little bit of transition trying to figure out exactly what their team is going to look like because on paper, it seems like, hey, wouldn't you play Marner and Eichel together? But then who's going to shoot? Because both of them are Eichel can do anything. I think he's awesome, but he's more of a pass first guy. If you've got guys that are pass first guys, then who do you have to shoot it? You can't play Mark Stone there. Nobody will shoot. You'll have three guys passing the puck around all over the place.
Yeah.
So I think I'm interested in how Bruce Cassidy will piece that together early on, trying to find what the right mix will be. But Marner's, in my mind, he's a premier player. They don't come available very often. And, Vegas has never been shy about being in the mix for these types of players. So but I don't know in some how much better they are.
Right.
Because I really think the loss of Pietrangelo is a big one for them.
It is.
I really do.
Yeah.
And as much as we talk about what other pieces are here or there or not there anymore, Pietrangelo's loss and Nick Hague is gone. It's a different team. They got Jeremy Lauzon from Nashville. Are they as big? Are they as physical? Did they transition to a different type of team? They lose Nick Roy too, or Nick Roy to Toronto. So, excuse me. So it'll be different. He could be out of the limelight, Marner, but he'll be in the limelight. He'll be under focus for sure.
Yeah, and quiet right now, by the way, on the Eichel contract front. But, inevitably, that's something that Kelly McCrimmon and Pat Brisson are going to wrestle with. We won't get into the speculation of what that looks like numbers-wise and whatnot. But
lots. There's my speculation.
Yeah. The messaging was that it's quiet right now, but obviously a priority. So we'll just transition from Marner back to the Maple Leafs. Treliving and Berube met with the media on Wednesday as part of the pre-camp routine across the NHL. A lot of talk on replacing Marner's 100 points. And what is that going to look like in Toronto? Treliving made it clear he's been on the hunt for a top six forward, all season, all off season, leading up to the trade deadline, all of that. And, the pieces just haven't been there. It looks like Matias Maccelli is likely going to start on the right side with Austin Matthews and Matthew Nyes. And I'm interested in your thoughts on that and what you see in that young player. And Max Domi is going to get a healthy look there when he comes off injury. That's good players. Don't get me wrong. Good players. But when you hear the general manager openly talk about a top six, he's not necessarily saying, I need a top line right winger. But with all due respect to Maccelli and Max Domi, that's a different look for Austin Matthews, even though there's been some historic chemistry between Domi and Matthews. But what do you think of that?
Well, it goes without saying they're a different team. They're not as talented without Marner. I mean, the guys that they brought in Dakota Joshua, right? They hope that he can find his form of a couple of years ago. They got Nick Waugh, bigger. There's their third line center. But he's never really held that third line center spot. He's been the fourth line guy in Vegas, but that's Vegas. This is Toronto. Maybe it's different. The top line player, I think it's important. A couple of things. One, so Treliving's been looking for this all summer, just like several teams have been looking for centermen all summer. There are no players.
Yeah.
There are no players. And this year, Doug Armstrong said at the trade deadline or at the draft last year, he goes, 27 teams are looking for a second line center. He goes, and so you can't invent players. So I don't think I don't think Brad Treliving's trying to invent another Mitch Marner. The Leafs are going to construct this team in a different form, and it's more in a form of what Berube and Treliving see as a playoff capable team. The Leafs are going to be a good team again. They're a playoff team again. They're in my mind, they're a total lock in the Atlantic to get into the playoffs. And that gives them from now until March to fiddle around with the right side of Matthews' line to figure out who's the best guy there. Now, Maccelli had 53 points 2 years ago, and last year he had 15 or something.
Yeah.
How do you know what he is? You could say, oh yeah, he's a 50-point guy. Yeah, once.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't make you a 50-point guy. He's a good passer. He's light. Doesn't seem to me like a playoff guy.
Right.
But that's not what they're looking for right now. Domi's going to get this opportunity. In his mindset, he's always felt that he's a top-end player. Yeah. And so now he's going to get the chance to do that. When everything settles out, he'll get a chance there. And so it's not just 5-on-5, though. It's like it's going to change their power play. Lots of things to be sorted out with a very good team. But I think the Leafs they'll miss Marner's production. I'd be quite surprised if they didn't.
Another Canadian team, the Winnipeg Jets. Where's your curiosity level with Jonathan Toews and what his return to the NHL is going to look like?
I don't know how anybody would know what he's going to be able to do. It's been quite a journey for him. I hope he's healthy and feels good. But he wasn't the negative view of it would be when he left a couple of years ago, he certainly was not fleet of foot. right? The game hasn't gotten slower or less skilled in 2 years. Now, he was talking about all this chronic inflammation that he had a couple of years ago. And I would say it's probable that affected the way he moved and skated.
Sure.
So now that he feels he's cleaned that up, does that make him a half a stride quicker? I have no idea. Winnipeg, they've got to dance over Lowry's absence till he gets back. And I think he clearly proved he's a hell of a player. Lowry, they're going to miss him till he gets back. And like, can Toews can he be a 40 to 50 point guy? He's not going to be an 80 point guy. I mean, I wouldn't think. So I'm curious as to what exactly he can do. What is his body going to allow him to do? That's number one. And number two is, can he dig into the fire that he used to have to play, which made him a really, really great player? Like, can he find that again? And I'm telling you from experience, as you get older, it's harder and harder to find that.
And just to wrap up a thought on Winnipeg, another contract, right? And that's Kyle Connor with the Winnipeg Jets. And it sounds like, talks are progressing there, but, typically it'll come. Yeah. I think it'll come somewhere in that Marner territory. That's a big number, 12 mils, somewhere around there. Well, what'll be interesting is the structure, though, Ray, right? Because Winnipeg doesn't like giving out signing bonus money and all that front-ended stuff. So we'll see how it plays out. But he's such a key piece.
Well, so you've got Connor, we've got Eichel, we've got McDavid, we've got Kaprizov, we've got Adrian Kempe. Like, these are some guys that are sitting there and they're all looking at each other and they're all grinning. They're all grinning because eventually they're going to get it. Like, they're going to get their pay. They're going to get their term, whatever it is they want. These guys are going to dictate the market, and they are tremendous players. Connor's an awesome player. And these are big decisions that impact your team for lots of years going forward.
All right, we've got time for one more here in the Canadian Brewhouse headline segment. You want to talk about the Florida Panthers or the Pittsburgh trio? I mean, inevitably we'll get to the either as things develop through camp.
Wherever you want to go. Yeah, wherever you want to go.
Why don't we go to Pittsburgh? Because I feel like that's a story that we're going to revisit multiple times. And then probably we'll have to talk about Florida because they look so good. But there's so much around, is Sidney Crosby going to finish the year? I mean, we talked about this last year. We talked about it the year before. And then you throw Malkin and Letang into that equation. And I'll give Kyle Dubas some credit. He's going to try everything he can to keep this team competitive, mostly for Sid, but those three guys, Hall of Famers, right? Do you see it playing out? Do you see them being good enough? Or do you maybe forecast a real difficult decision for both Sidney and the Pittsburgh Penguins as we get into the second half of the year? What's your crystal ball read?
I'm going to quote Jim Mora, the old Indianapolis coach in football. Playoffs? Are we talking playoffs?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about, Dregs? Come on.
Yeah.
Like, look at that Eastern Conference. They got to jump 7 teams. Like, if Sid wants to play in the playoffs, unfortunately, I don't see how it can be in Pittsburgh.
No.
And so, again, he will dictate what is going to happen. Malkin and his agents and Dubas have said they'll revisit it more during the Olympic break in February.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that's probably where it all kind of comes to a culmination.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, the only thing that would keep Sid in Pittsburgh, I think, is the want, desire, not his legacy. His legacy's cemented, but to stay in one uniform for his whole career. That would be it. Like, other than that, if like the Pens are just, they're not even, well, I guess maybe they're not. They're not at the bottom of the rebuild yet. because as long as they've got these three guys there, they're not there yet. And it's very clear that's what they're heading to do. Like that look at the players that they brought in this year, and I was one of these players. Like you're a placeholder at this time in your career. You're a placeholder for the younger guys coming behind you. And they've got some very good ones and some that have plenty of promise, but they're not going to help get them to a playoffs in the next year or two. They're just too young, too inexperienced.
To be determined. All right, Ray. Those are our headlines. Thank you to the Canadian Brewhouse. Time for Ask Ray and Dregs Anything. Just enough time to slide the VP of TSN's Edmonton Bureau, Ryan Rashog, into this episode of Ask Ray and Dregs. And they can still find us on X, correct? At Ray and Dregs, Instagram at Ray and Dregs, website rayanddregs.com. I don't know. I didn't know if Rev Media had changed a bunch of stuff. I didn't know. So
well, if I did, I wouldn't feel obligated to tell you. I would just do it. I don't need permission. So it's good of you to check, but no, on all the same platforms, X, YouTube, we still got the website. Right. We're still rolling the exact same.
Well, so we went long here. Yeah, but if I could jump in really quickly, as we're talking about the leadership of this company.
Yep.
And if I want to make a change coming from Ryan,
just saying,
which is what you said, if I wouldn't feel the need to tell you. Oh, really? Really?
Well, I seem to recall, Ray, you basically being kidnapped and forced to be on my show last night. And if I have the power to do that, I feel like, I can get
just
you.
Being nice.
Well, you know what? I felt that I should, because I've seen you crumple like an old $2 bill. So
especially in season openers, I'm terrible in season openers. So we should just get on with this and get me off here.
Yeah. Okay,
we're
have 7 minutes because we went long. Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not taking 7 minutes. We'll be quicker than that. Okay. We're going to do a little rapid fire. We're going to open the season with rapid fire because obviously it's episode 1, so we got to get the juices flowing for the listener. So we'll ask for some questions for Ask Ray and Dregs for the next couple of episodes. But for today we'll just do a quick little bit of summer/hockey rapid fire, gentlemen. So let's get her rolling with this. Favorite Robert Redford movie? As we know, acting legend passed away just a few days ago. I'm going to go with, because I love movies that are about journalism, and obviously he was in a really famous one, All the President's Men, where he portrayed Bob Woodward, absolute legend, Robert Redford. So what do you guys got? There's all kinds to choose from. The Natural, The Way We Were, all kinds of stuff.
We know his movies. The Sting.
Okay, sorry.
The Sting is one of my all-time top 5 movies. I think it's a brilliant, fun movie. I loved it. I would say The Natural would be next, just because I love baseball and I thought he was awesome. But The Sting is mine.
The Natural for me, but the reason I looked over, I was looking at my phone. Was he in the Wilderness Family? I feel like he was way back, and it's one of the first movies that I remember going to with my entire family as a little guy. And the fact that you could get a vat of popcorn, but I'm not convinced he was the guy. So that's why I lead with The Natural. But if he was in the Wilderness Family, then that would be option B.
If you're choosing your favorite all-time movies for a gentleman who just passed away, you got to make sure he's in the one you pick.
I know. I feel shame.
That's a little bit offside. Okay, moving on. You guys chatted about Connor McDavid a little bit earlier on. Setting the contract talk aside, he talked a little bit about wanting to get back to some goal-scoring ways. Remember that 64-goal season not too long ago? Seems like he's thinking and processing it that way heading into this year. How many goals for Connor McDavid this season, Ray?
56. I think if he wants to score goals, or if he wants to view the game in a more singular way, he can do that. If he decided he wanted to win the Selke, he could do that too.
Yeah.
But at 56, I think he'll have a big year.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, as soon as you started asking the question, 55 popped into my head. So we're splitting hairs here. I mean, anywhere in that realm of 50 to high 50s, I think is certainly attainable.
Now, I'm going to go with 61, by the way. Now that we are back and we're doing the show again, I ask you each, what did you miss the least about doing this show twice a week? By the way, we will get back to twice a week starting next week here on the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast. What did you miss least, Dregs?
Grinding for guests.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and then hey, look, we've had the good fortune of having great guests over the six now turning into 7 seasons of Ray and Dregs. But I feel like you reach a point where you can only play the favor card so many times. And he's like, didn't I just do that show like recently? So we'll have great guests again this year, but that one can be a challenge, certainly in the second half of the year.
Okay, what I didn't miss, and it was illustrated by a text message from our fearless leader the other day, was the discussion of time zones and the idiocy of not being able to figure out the time zones. Now, we live in 3 different time zones.
We do.
And so we decided many years ago that we would just do this all in the Eastern time zone. Hey, we'll do the pod at 10 Eastern. So somebody, maybe the guy sitting in the middle here, sends out a text the other day. Okay, so we'll do it at 10 Mountain, 7 Pacific. Those are not the same time. And so right away, I was like, oh, we're back to this.
It's my little...
that stuff drives you crazy, Ray. Like that logistical stuff bugs you. Detail stuff bugs you.
Okay, and also, by the way, whatever time works. What works for you? Whatever time. Somebody just say, who the hell cares? And so, and then
I feed that beast all the time because I know it annoys you.
You said it yesterday, and did we decide on a time? Says Rashog. Drager says, I'm available whatever time works best. And so
that's perfect.
And so I just said 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern. Good. Like, we're done. And then
how am I supposed to know what time that is for me? I'm in Mountain Time. You don't have the courtesy to include Mountain Time.
Mountain Time doesn't count. Time zone Eastern.
That's triggering.
That's it.
That's triggering for us Western Canadians to be expected to speak in Eastern Time like it's the center of the universe. Bigger immediate impact. Sullivan with the Rangers or Tocchet with the Flyers. Bigger immediate impact on the group. Ray.
Sullivan. I think he's one of the game's best coaches. Not that Talk isn't, but I think Mike Sullivan is a really smart coach. Yeah. And the Rangers are going to be interesting because they're in a little bit of a swivel transition here. And I think he can pull some better play out of some of their older players.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's still work to be done in Philadelphia. Not that there isn't in New York, but I'm talking about roster stuff that Jonesy and Danny Briere are working on, and Talk will help establish the culture there. But I'm fascinated by what's going to go down in New York, and I think we're all a fan of the work of Mike Sullivan. He's a terrific NHL head coach. Not that Lavi wasn't, but different levels of expectation here. And then you throw JT Miller this week being named captain, which would have been a fun discussion in the Vancouver market. But I think things are going to turn for the positive in New York, and Sully will be a big part of that.
All right. And finally, as we wrap up, ask Ray and Dregs anything. How offside is this scenario? On a scale of 1 to 10. Group of guys go out golfing regularly together. None of them like hitting the range. Nobody warms up. Yeah. They never go to the range. Instead, as a foursome, what they have decided is that on the first tee box, they're going to play a little game called Hit Till You're Happy. So no warming up off the first tee. Re-rack as many times until you're happy.
It's not a goal. That means your golf score doesn't count.
Agreed.
Whatever follows doesn't count. I told you about that round I played yesterday. I was late. I didn't get to the range. I walked out of my car. I took 5 swings on the first tee and hit the ball. And what that means is that's what I'm going to do on Friday. Same thing. But this hit till you're happy. Are you kidding me? Do you guys each get a mulligan too? I would have normally made that putt. So I'll give you another try at it. That's not golf.
Yeah. What about the old breakfast ball? Same thing?
Not a breakfast ball guy.
No, me neither. But back in the day we did. It depends how early in the morning and whether you're on a golf trip. And if everybody agrees to it, but it's hard because you can't be in a group format like you play in, Ray. Like 25 or 4 guys aren't playing a breakfast ball. So
okay, there is a rule that I have seen that I really like. So first tee, you can hit a second ball, but your second ball's in play. So,
no matter what.
No matter what. So if you duff your first one and then your second one you hit out of bounds, too bad. You don't get to play the first one. So lots of times a guy will hit a
I like that. That's okay.
Yeah, and you'll go, you know what?
A guy's trying to go back to his first one, that's weak. Live with your second one. I agree.
Hit till you're happy, that's weak.
It is bad. 10 out of 10s across the board. May or may not be former Pittsburgh Penguin great Rob Brown and his friends that play that game. May or may not be. That was Ask Ray and Dregs Anything. And if you want to get some questions to the fellas, hit us up on Twitter or Instagram. Send us a DM. Get your questions in. We'll do some more next week, guys. Thanks for inviting me back for season 7.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. And he wore his dress shirt for this episode, Ray.
So head to the rink. Straight to the rink. Got to talk to McDavid.
He's going to pepper Connor with all those contract questions, the hard-hitting stuff. I like it. So it's Thursday. So you've already established you're playing golf on Friday. So today is just a dad day, looking after the home and making sure everybody's fed and looked after.
The home is empty. Cammy's in Penticton at the Canucks training camp. Reese is going to school as soon as I drive him in a few minutes. And then he's going over to the island, over to Victoria for a soccer tournament.
Excellent.
And so I've got time I got to do some stuff, but pretty kind of nice end of summer day. And we're getting great weather right now here this week. So it's been really nice. So pretty easy day, but on the course tomorrow. What about you? Have your lawns cut?
Yeah, no, you know what?
You've got your safety vest on. You got your safety vest on.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what color that is. It's like a reddish pink. I don't know. So as you and I talk confidentially, and not to make a big deal out of it, but young Mason Dreger is embarking on a life change, moving to Manitoba, Western Canada, of course, from Ontario. He's taking up a nice job there. So we're in the throes of lining up what a mini move looks like, because he's not moving a house, right? He's just moving clothes, hockey equipment, and other stuff, right? So I got to put an afternoon of that in today, and then we'll see what the weekend looks like. But that's about it, my friend. That's about it.
We're inching in before we don't have many easy days, days with nothing to do. So we should enjoy them, and then we get into what we love to do, and lucky to do it.
All right. Well, have a good one, my friend.
Yeah, you bet. Everybody have a good weekend. Thanks for listening, man. It's good to be back.
Yes, and thank you to our sponsors who support Ray and Dregs and make this pod possible. Our title sponsor, Tim Hortons, and thank you for our new partner, the Canadian Brew House. Until next time, stay safe, everybody.